The year was 1965, and I had just finished my shift at the diner in San Francisco. It was close to midnight when I started my drive home to Santa Cruz along Highway 1. The coastal road was my favorite route, even though it took longer. During the day, the views of the Pacific Ocean were worth it. At night, though, it was different, dark and empty, with only my headlights cutting through the fog that rolled in from the sea. My Chevy wasn't anything special, but it got me where I needed to go. The radio played soft music as I drove, helping me stay awake. The moon was full that night, casting an eerie glow on the fog that hung over the road. I hadn't seen another car for at least 20 minutes when I first noticed the headlights in my rearview mirror. I didn't think much of it at first. Highway 1 wasn't busy at midnight, but it wasn't strange to see another car. What struck me as odd was how the car kept the same distance behind me. When I sped up, it sped up. When I slowed down, it slowed down too. Probably just someone who's as tired as I am, I told myself, using my taillights to guide them through the fog. But after 10 minutes of this, a chill ran down my spine. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I decided to test my theory and slowed down even more, almost to a crawl. The car behind me did the same. My heart started beating faster. I pressed down on the gas pedal, pushing my Chevy to go faster around the curves of the coastal highway. The headlights stayed with me, matching my speed perfectly. I couldn't see what kind of car it was, just two bright lights following me through the darkness. I came to a small turnout on the side of the road and pulled over, thinking the car would pass me by. It didn't. Instead, it stopped right behind me, headlights shining directly into my rearview mirror, blinding me. I couldn't see who was driving or how many people were in the car. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight, my knuckles turned white. I waited for something to happen, for whoever was in that car to get out, to approach me, to do whatever they were planning to do on this empty stretch of highway. Nothing happened. The car just sat there, engine running, lights blazing into my mirrors. After what felt like forever, I made a decision. I put my Chevy back in gear and pulled back onto the highway, driving faster than before. The car followed, still keeping the same distance. I tried to think of what to do. There were no police stations out here, no open gas stations at this hour. The next town was still 20 miles away. My mind raced with stories I'd heard. Hitchhikers who disappeared, drivers found abandoned on the side of the road. Then I remembered there was a roadside diner that stayed open late for truckers, just a few miles ahead. If I could make it there, I'd be safe. There would be people, witnesses. I pushed my car faster, taking the curves too quickly. The headlights stayed with me, never falling behind. As I rounded a bend, the car suddenly sped up, pulling alongside me. My breath caught in my throat as I glanced over, trying to see who was driving. The windows were too dark. I couldn't see inside at all. The car stayed beside me for a moment, matching my speed exactly, then suddenly swerved toward me. I jerked the wheel, nearly going off the road. My tires skidded on the gravel at the edge before I regained control. The other car fell back behind me again, as if nothing had happened. By now, I was shaking. The diner had to be close. I scanned the roadside desperately for its lights. When I finally saw the glow of the neon sign in the distance, I nearly cried with relief. I pulled into the parking lot fast, tires squealing. There were 2 trucks and a car parked outside. I looked in my mirror, expecting to see those headlights following me in, but the road behind me was empty. I sat there, engine running, staring at the highway. Had I imagined it all? Was I so tired that my mind was playing tricks on me? As I walked into the diner, legs still wobbly, I asked the waitress if she'd seen a car drive by. She hadn't seen anything. I never found out who was driving that car or what they wanted. I never drove Highway 1 at night again. To this day, whenever I see headlights in my rearview mirror that follow me too long or too closely, my heart races, and I remember that night in 1965 when someone, or something, followed me along the California coast. Sometimes I wonder if they're still out there, driving that same stretch of road, looking for someone else to follow through the midnight fog.